Brothers and sisters, let's give our brother, Minister Reggie Muhammad, a round of applause for those excellent words. You always have to start with a good foundation. All right? In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. And I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I'd like to greet you all with the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, it gives me great honor. It's a privilege for me to stand before you all today to speak to you all about a book that Allah has blessed me to write for our benefit. Whenever one does something, motives should be examined for why you want to do a thing. Some people want to do things because they want their pictures taken. Some people want to do things because they want their name written up in lights. Some people do things because they have a vindictive spirit that they want to work against someone. When you are working on anything that is going to be something used in the future by others, you definitely should examine your motives for doing it. And if your motives are right, then the outcome will be right. So I'm very thankful to be here at Muhammad Mosque number 74 under the guidance and leadership of our wonderful brother, Minister Nuri Muhammad. Brother, yes, definitely give him a round of applause. Brother is my brother. Brother is my friend. He is a soldier in arms with me in this mission, and whatever I can do to help him, I will do, and I hope to do something to help him by talking a little bit about this book, The Synagogue of Satan. Now, when we hear the word synagogue, automatically you think of Judaism. Most of us think of that. Just like when you hear mosque, you think of Muslims, church, Christians. One thing that we have to understand, though, is that when you have a Bible that has been translated and transliterated from different languages, words mean different. They have different meanings than what we think. So now we know synagogue means, or has become associated with the place of worship of the Jews. But really, synagogue can just mean a gathering of men for a specific purpose. So when you look at that particular word, then it's not necessarily about Jews per se. It could be Christians, it could be Muslims, or it could be anybody. All right? Now, when you have knowledge that you have been given, and we definitely have been given the best of all knowledge because we've been told who God is. So we have the best of all knowledge given to us by the best teacher, God himself. And he gave to us the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he gave to us the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now, there's no way that you could ignore what Minister Farrakhan has been doing and saying for our salvation. You can't ignore it. You might not have every one of his books, but you got a tape. You might not have all the tapes, but you got a video cassette. You might not have a video cassette, but you saw him on C-SPAN something, maybe the State of the Union, the State of the Black Union on C-SPAN. You may have seen him on CNN. You may not have seen him on CNN, but you got a DVD of some sort. You may have heard him. You may not have had any of those things, but you heard some young brother with Minister Farrakhan's words pumping over a hip-hop beat in his vehicle. So you heard Minister Farrakhan in some way, even if it was at first from the enemy of our people. When you have received the gift of knowledge, you have a responsibility. You will be judged based on what you do with that information that you have received. So we have people on the planet right now who have been given a high level of knowledge and wisdom, but they have used it for wicked purposes. They have used the knowledge that they have been given to misuse others. They have used the knowledge that they have given to suck the blood of other people. They have used the knowledge that they've been given to put groups of people against each other. They've used their knowledge to keep people in mental darkness, enslaved to the truth that God came to bring them. So when you have that type of situation, you're either on the side of God or you're on the side of Satan. You can't serve two masters. So if you are not fighting on the side of God in this day, then you are actually fighting on the side of Satan. And the strange thing about it, and the scary thing for the masses of the people, is that you're fighting for Satan and you don't even know it. You might not even know that you're fighting for Satan, but you are one of Satan's agents if you're not on the side of God. Do you follow me so far for what I'm saying? So, now, here we live in America, the United States of America. This is a place where truth well, falsehood has been spread so long. It's a nation built on falsehood. It's a nation built on deception, greed, trickery. So therefore, when the truth comes, it seems strange. So all of a sudden, a book like the Synagogue of Satan now is controversial. What's so controversial about the truth? It's only controversial if it's in a place that has been spreading lies and tricks. There is a controversy if you're telling the truth in a land of lies. And the people who represent truth are now talked about as these courageous people. Oh man, these brother got so much courage. He wrote this book on so-and-so. And we see Minister Farrakhan, he's so courageous. He stands up and speaks truth to power. And he is that. Right. But the reason he is so strong in his representation is because it's truth. Right. So you don't have to be afraid. You're not, walking on something light when you're standing on truth. You can come and talk truth to power if you have it in you. And so that's why we have the responsibility of taking the example of Minister Farrakhan and manifesting that in our own lives, in our own circles, among the people who we impact on a daily basis. All right? Yes, sir. Now, what actually is mainstream? You might hear something. Some of you may have seen the Synagogue of Satan. What is that? In writing this book and finishing this book, it has shown me, and this is not to disrespect anyone who is a Christian or who read the Bible or reads the Bible, but it's funny that when they see that I'm a Muslim and I wrote a book called The Synagogue of Satan, they don't know that the basis of the words, the Synagogue of Satan, came from the Bible, their holy book. That's right. They don't know it. They think that this is some more Islam trying to go against people who are not Muslims, or some more Islamic radical fundamentalism, whatever that is. That's what they think it is. They, you're saying, but this is actually in your book of scripture. You see, your book. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gave us a definition of the Synagogue of Satan. He said, the Synagogue of Satan is a gathering of persons of like mind and spirit who are in opposition to the will of God. Paul, the apostle of Jesus, in Ephesians 6:12 said the following. He said, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, and against spiritual wickedness in high places. Would you agree that we live in a world in which spiritual wickedness exists in high places? Is that hate teaching or something like that I'm just trying to go off against somebody? You will agree that we live in a world right now that really is just about dripping with wickedness. Whether it's what they show on television, whether it's what they play on the radio, whether it's what they put in their books and magazines, this society drips with the wickedness of the devil. Now, what is mainstream? Who decides what mainstream is? Is mainstream just because everybody likes it? See, we know that the masses of the people will always fall for tricks and lies. The majority of the population, we say 85%, is always falling for tricks and lies, and they're ruled by 10% who are the bloodsuckers, who know the truth and the reality of God, yet they use that and hide it and use it to suck the blood and use the 85% as their slaves. Then you have the 5%. Those of us who have knowledge and who have decided to do things like speak in public and write books and write articles and tell others of the truth of God, because we don't care about the consequences. Because were it not for that truth, we wouldn't be standing here right now. Praise is due to Allah. So we say in the Quran, when truth enters, falsehood vanishes. And falsehood is what? An ever-vanishing thing. See, when truth enters, when light enters the room, you're no longer the same. Like when you hear the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. How many of you have had this experience where you met somebody who found out you were a Muslim? And they said, man, I went to hear Minister Farrakhan. It changed my life. Now, they're not necessarily in the mosque with you. But they're like, I heard Minister Farrakhan speak. I was going to college. I had a big afro like this and a couple of earrings. But I was listening to the minister. Man, I had this one little tape. It was only about 15 minutes, and it was hard to listen and hear. But I listened to it over and over and over again. In fact, I still got that tape somewhere. I got it. Or this article, this Final Call newspaper. Look, I pulled out the Final Call newspaper. The back is, where the spine is disintegrated. They like, I read every single article that was in that newspaper every single day. How many of you had that experience? You know what I'm talking about, right? That's just with one tape or one newspaper. one DVD, one thing like that. What can you do as an individual